And here we've got a nodule that is probably down in the deep subcutis somewhere. And it looks like there might be dense regular connective tissue next to it. So potentially it's attached to the fascia. Oh, actually, there it is. Here's fascia right along here, probably. We can see that waviness to it, the ramen noodle sign that we tend to see in fascia and tendon and ligament. And then here we've got a spindle cell proliferation with a very loose blue myxoid background. Some areas are more cellular and form little fascicles, short fascicles. Other areas are hypocellular and myxoid. There are some small keloidal collagen bundles in the background. And the most useful clue is that we find little pockets where the cells are falling apart and leaving a little empty space. So this is called myxoid cystic degeneration. And this is, to me, the most helpful feature for recognizing nodular fasciitis, which is what we're dealing with here. There's a range of features in nodular fasciitis. When they are kind of an early lesion, they're more cellular and proliferative, and you have more stuff that's going to be fascicles of cells with mitotic activity. And then they kind of age and get older, and they begin breaking down and getting more cystic and getting more sclerotic collagen and little keloidal collagen bundles. And you can see a range of those features in a nodular fasciitis. But look for the myxoid cystic change. It is usually present. Extravasated erythrocytes scattered in the lesion are commonly present, although you can see that in other things. So I personally don't find that super helpful, but I know some pathologists who really like that feature. I really focus on the myxoid cystic change. The cells can run, they're myofibroblasts, and they look very similar to the reactive myofibroblasts that we see in granulation tissue. And so for a long time, people thought that this was a reactive process because it often does arise after trauma, but it doesn't have to. But now people have discovered that actually it has a translocation, and so it's thought to represent a self-limited form of benign neoplasm, which is kind of wild and blows people's minds. This one has clearly had some hemorrhage because you can see there's hemosiderin and blood out at the periphery of it. Maybe that was actually related to the original trauma in this case. I don't know the history of this one. So the cells can be plump spindle cells, or they can be kind of stellate, star-shaped is what stellate means. I think that when we say stellate, what we really mean is kind of triangle-shaped cells. They're kind of pointy at the edges. I'm trying to find a good example in here. The cytology is not real clear on this scan, unfortunately. You don't see pleomorphism, but mitotic activity is totally fine, and sometimes it can be abundant, actually. So the cells, I have another video I'll put a link to down below, and it has some better view of the cytology. But you can kind of appreciate that the cells here have kind of pointed cytoplasmic edges coming out, and that's because myofibroblasts, they normally grab, in the setting of granulation tissue, they kind of grab the stroma and pull it down together and compact it to make the granulation tissue that's loose into a more dense, compact, organized scar. That's this very simplified way that I think of it. And so that's why they have these kind of long, branching, pointy arms, is because they're reaching out to grab the stroma. That's the way that I remember it, at least. And so if you do a stain, actin, smooth muscle actin, will highlight these myofibroblasts, and it will tend to, instead of being strong and filling the whole cytoplasm, it tends to highlight the area right underneath the plasma membrane of the cells. And so it gives you this kind of little parallel lines, or what we call the tram track pattern. And that's a common finding in any sort of myofibroblast, nodular fasciitis, granulation tissue, etc. But in my opinion, I don't usually do stains when I've got a classic nodular fasciitis. I often just diagnose it on H&E only. Some other people like to do stains or workup. Molecular, I personally rarely do unless it's a very difficult situation or I have some other concern or a partial biopsy. But I know some other people who like to use that routinely even. So everyone has kind of different approaches to what they're comfortable with. And these loose areas of kind of the triangular shaped stellate cells with a loose background, some people have called this tissue culture because of if you grow fibroblasts in a culture dish in a laboratory, they kind of stretch out on a plate like this. I've never grown cells in a laboratory like that, and I suspect that many people have not. So I don't know how useful the tissue culture terminology is. I like loose and feathery. Those are the visual buzzwords that work for me. But if tissue culture works for you, go for it. All right, nodular fasciitis. And despite the itis name, it does not have to have inflammation. This one does have some inflammation around it, but it doesn't have to. And sometimes you can even see these involving vessels, like in the lumen of a vessel, which can be kind of scary. They do tend to grow quickly, and they're painful. They're often like the extremities of a young adult or a kid. They can sometimes be on the face or other places. And most importantly, they are usually small. Usually I would say smaller than 3 centimeters or less. It's not that you couldn't have a 5 centimeter nodular fasciitis, but the bigger it is beyond 3 centimeters, the more you have to ask yourself, are you totally sure it's nodular fasciitis and not something else? So that's just my one word of caution, is that usually these are small, and if you have a large lesion that you think is nodular fasciitis, make sure that you've thought of other options and considered everything else, because they're usually not big. Okay, there are some other types of fasciitis that can be large, like ischemic fasciitis or myositis ossificans, which kind of belongs to the fasciitis family, but that's kind of a story for a different day. And these can either be, they often arise off the fascia, and because of that, they can either push down into the muscle or push up into the subcutis, or occasionally can even be linear and stretch out in a kind of linear or spiky stellate pattern along the fascia. But most often I see them in a nodule form like this, and they are totally benign, and usually, even if they're just shelled out like this with positive margins, they usually do not recur. And sometimes they can even regress completely on their own.